Street Talk! Yeah!
Welcome to Street Talk. I am your host, Jason, and this is for Tuesday, December the 23rd. Happy Christmas Eve, everyone. Yes, I'm back from vacation. I tried to get some sort of live on location video shots over the break. Couldn't get it done. Really couldn't get anything without the lighting and stuff presentable to show you guys. So I hope you held the fort without me. I'm sure you did well. Tried to get last night's video. I've had a few technical difficulties, but let's go over my picks now. Bengals, Dalton, and no in the second half prop. I'm just kidding. I would have said Broncos, or I did say, but it didn't get to air. Broncos, Bengals plus 3.5, Dalton, and no. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 3 out of 3 versus the spread. But let's move on to today's prop. The Boca Raton Bowl. Feel the excitement. Northern Illinois Huskies versus the Marshall Thundering Herd. So the prop is, will Marshall win by double digits versus Northern Illinois single digit loss, or of course the victory? Well, the line opened up at minus 11, has been sort of bet down, or at least moved down by Vegas, depending on your position, to Marshall minus 8. So if we tease that up to now 9.5, we have Illinois at about a minus 155 favorite, so slight favorite for the Huskies. I did a little research, looked at some computer simulations, and oddly enough, they were really all over the board. I know this is bowl season. Anything can happen. For instance, the BYU-Memphis game yesterday is a perfect example of that. A lot of these bowls are very difficult to predict because there's been such a long layoff and coaches can add things and so on and so on. So looking at the bowls, the computer simulation, you sort of get that feel. You had it. One of them had them as an 8-point victor. One of them as a 7.5-point victor. Marshall, that is. One of them is a 19-point victor, and then one of them is an 11-point victor. So you had two that were more than double digits. You had two that were less. So they're sort of split down the middle. So well, what else do we have? Well, Northern Illinois' last game was a prop on Street for the Cash versus Bowling Green, and really, Northern Illinois did nothing but curb stomp them, 51-17. Really, that was a little bit of a revenge game. Throw in the fact that they weren't willing to step off the gas, and they ended up crushing Bowling Green. And that also marked them holding their sixth straight opponent to less than 24 points. So their defense has sort of come on late in the season. Marshall, meanwhile, sort of had delusions of grandeur of joining the New York Six, sort of breaking through to that BCS type game, except for their season basically got derailed when they lost to Western Kentucky 67-66 in a thriller in overtime. That crushed their hopes of a perfect season, and really, with their weak schedule, crushed any hopes of getting in a big time bowl. So it does match two teams with a total of 23 wins between them. So we're going to get some good competition in this Boca Raton Bowl. That's right. Looking at defensive statistics, we have about two evenly matched teams. Northern Illinois is 58th in the nation, allowing 158 yards a game. Marshall, a little bit better, 53rd in the nation, 157 yards a game. So 1 yard difference. Passing, Northern Illinois allowing, or 62nd in the nation, allowing 224 yards a game. Marshall, a little bit better, 24th, allowing 194 yards a game. While that's good for Marshall, it doesn't really counteract the strength of Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is 6th in the nation in rushing yards a game, while Marshall has, like I said, they were 53rd in the nation. Their last 3 games, they've really been leaking oil, allowing 207 yards a game. So they're really going to be facing a stout Northern Illinois rushing attack. Can their defense sort of step up more so than they have in the last 3 games? Northern Illinois, Cameron Stingley, the big bruising back, really going to put the hammer down on that Northern Illinois rushing attack. And they have the dual threat quarterback, Drew Hare. Normally the Huskies feature these type of dual threat, mostly running quarterbacks. Hare has rushed for 850 yards with 8 touchdowns. And he really protects the ball through the air, 17 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So he's not really a type of quarterback that's going to beat himself. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Rakeem Cato had a really good year, really solid. Last game for Marshall, he is a senior, threw for over 3,600 yards and 37 touchdowns. So he can really air it out. That does speak a little bit to the first half prop. Who's going to have more touchdowns? Northern Illinois versus Rakeem Cato are tied. I might lean Northern Illinois there because I think they're gonna try and control the game on the ground. Plus, for the Thundering Herd, you do have Devin Johnson, who was 6th best rusher in the nation, 3rd best in yards per carry. However, he has been hampered by an injury. He's only really had about 63 yards the last 2 games. So how effective is he going to be? How healthy is he going to be? Remains to be seen. Marshall can really air it out, put some points up, 5th in the nation in points per game. So can they get a big enough lead? I don't think so. I'm going to go with the Huskies for the green. I think their ground attack is bruising. It's time control. It's going to keep Cato and that high-powered Thundering Herd offense off the field just long enough to possibly keep it within 10. I don't even mind, as far as betting goes, taking the points here, Northern Illinois +8. I think they could maybe even pull an upset. We'll see how they pan out. They've really come on late. Like I said, Marshall's played sort of a weaker schedule, and even in that weaker schedule, they haven't been killing teams. They've sometimes barely skated by. So I like Northern Illinois the way they're coming on late in the season for the green. I know it's not a de facto great pick, but it is getting late in the month. It's already the 23rd, as I mentioned. So got to do something. Got to keep some streaks going. Got to build some momentum. We know Stunt Day is just around the corner on Christmas. We'll see how that plays out. So maybe we can get some momentum with a Husky win tonight. I hope you guys enjoy it. I missed you. I hope you missed me. We'll see you next time on Street Talk.